Overton-Key Pittman Hunter Reservation System. Chief of Habitat Elmer Bull. Commission may adopt an amendment to a portion of the Commission Regulation 0707 to address issues of concern related to the current method of awarding dove hunt reservations at the Overton Wildlife Management Area. Elmer?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Again, for the record, Elmer Bull, Chief of the Habitat Division for NDEL. I'm up here today to request your review and hopefully approval of an amendment to Commission Regulation 0707. The specific item that I'm asking for an amendment on is the method under which dove hunt reservations are issued to hunters for hunting at the Overton Wildlife Management Area. The requested amendment was precipitated by some complaints that we received relative to the way that the dove hunt reservations are currently awarded to hunters. Specifically, there's three primary complaints about the way the current system is operating and how it affects hunters in the system. First of all, there was a complaint about the way the drawing is held, and I'll explain a little more in detail on that in a minute. Another complaint had to do with the fact that hunters have to be at and present themselves at the NDEL offices for the drawing, which basically precludes some out-of-town hunters from participating in that drawing. And thirdly, another complaint was that the drawing is held on the Monday before the opening day of dove season. So in some cases that might be the day before the opener or maybe a couple days before the opener, and that kind of precludes hunters from making contingency plans in the event that they don't get a permit to hunt. To go back and explain in a little more detail about the drawing system and why that's a problem. Currently, prospective hunters are asked to come to either the NDEL office in Las Vegas, the NDEL office in Henderson, or at the Overton Wildlife Management Area for a drawing to determine who's going to get reservations. And the way it works right now, and it's being gamed pretty badly, and that's what led to the complaint, is that hunters can come in and apply for a party either from 1 to 4 hunters. We allow a maximum of 60 hunters on the day, on the area each hunt day. And what's been going on is that we'll get individuals showing up, and there'll be maybe 4 people that really desire to hunt together, but they'll all go and they'll draw a ball out of the cage, and when they get done, they'll look at the 4 balls, see who has the lowest number, and that's the number that they'll use to secure a reservation for 4 people. So essentially they had 4 opportunities to draw a low ball in that drawing. In the meanwhile, a lone hunter over here on the side only has 1 opportunity to draw a low number. So it's patently unfair, fully understandable why some folks are pretty upset about this drawing. So, and then the other 2 issues, like I said, individuals have to present themselves at the drawing. So if you live in Pahrump or Mesquite or Beatty or someplace and you want to participate, it's going to take quite a bit of effort to get there and participate in the drawing. And of course, the issue of not having the drawing so close to the opener precludes them from making contingency plans. So the way that we are proposing to address that would be, and I think it'll take care of all 3 of those issues, is to have hunters submit a written application. The written application, and it should have been included in the support material that came out for you. If you don't have that, I have both the proposed amendments to 0707 as well as a draft of an application that would be used. This application is actually a kind of derived from the Mason Valley Controlled Goose Hunt application that we currently use, and it's also going to, the proposed drawing that we're proposing here would also be kind of a hybrid of the Sheldon special sage grouse hunt that's held on the Sheldon. So anyway, under this program, hunters would either pick an application up at the NDAL offices down in Las Vegas, or they could download it from the NDAL website. They would fill this application out, mail it in to the NDAL Reno office. We're going to require that applications be submitted by the second Wednesday in July. Our staff in Reno will download the information off of this, upload the information into a computer, and then a random drawing will be done via the computer on the last Wednesday of July. And successful reservation recipients will receive a letter indicating that they were successful in drawing a reservation for a specific day, and those that were unsuccessful will also receive a notice. And when the dove season opens, and those hunters who are successful in drawing a reservation for the specific day will bring that letter. That's their permit to hunt that day, and the check station attendants will verify that. What they'll do is ask for licenses, proof that the people that are presenting themselves to go hunting that day are actually those that were on the application. We won't allow any substitutions. Otherwise, we'll get people gaming this system again. So only those whose names appear on this application and who appear on the letter of award will be allowed to hunt that day. So I think we've addressed the problems with the drawing as it is being done right now. This process won't require someone to present themselves at the NDAL office, so it'll open this hunting opportunity for out-of-towners, and it'll be done well in advance of the opening of the season. So it should have addressed all of the concerns that were expressed there. I'll be happy to answer questions.
Okay, bring it back to the commission. Anybody have any questions? I'll just say thank you very much. This is something that arose in the Clark County Cab, and actually a couple times, and so we're finally fixing it, and it sounds like you did a great job, and I think that we'll have a lot of happy people that, you know, and a fair system, obviously. So that's great.
Mr. Chairman, I have one other item. At the 11th hour on this amended or suggested amendment to 0707, late in the process, the manager of the Key Pittman Wildlife Management Area asked if we could add one other item. And if you have that draft regulation in front of you, it's in the paragraph in item 4, and it's more of a procedural issue than anything else. However, I failed to get a change on the agenda description, but what it involves is just a request on the part of hunters to show up at the main entrance to the Key Pittman Wildlife Area when they're hunting, as opposed to the system right now where they just kind of show up and start hunting, and it's incumbent on the manager to try to confirm that they have reservations. So that wasn't noted in the description of the agenda item, and if you choose not to act on that, that's fine, but it's really a minor procedural issue there.
No, I think that's completely consistent with the agenda item on my mind, because we're invoking a new system where we're going to have new reservations. It seems to me that you have to have some way to administer it, having them come through, the specific spot makes all kinds of sense to me. Do you see any problem with that? I think we're okay. I think we can add that.
It's really a pretty minor procedural.
Do you have the language that you want to add?
It should be in the support material. Yeah, it was already included in there. I just failed to get a change in the description of the agenda item.
No, I think you're okay. Okay, any other comments from the commissioners on this? Okay, take it out to the public. Mr. Dixon.
Stay here. For the record, Paul Dixon, Clark County Cab. I'd like to second Chairman McBeth. Thank you to you for this. This is something that has been, since I've been on the Clark County Cab, a moment of consternation. And when I sat and talked with you, you said, hey, I can do that. I talked to Ken a little bit, and you were very quick at turning around something. And it was amazing the response I got back from the public, that they could actually bring up an issue request something and actually start to see something turn around fast. I mean, it's been less than 6 months since we actually brought this up to you. And to have a regulation in front of you guys and changes here, I think is fantastic. So, wonderful job. The question that was asked at our cabin, I wanted to make sure, in order to put in the paper application, do you have to have a HIP number or a license? So you don't...
You don't have to have a license, but the license will be checked at the check station the day of the hunt.
And since you can't transfer, you can't game the system by somebody's kid putting in for them or doing other things, because that's all. I figured there was a way we stopped it, because that was a question I asked. I wasn't sure if they had to have a license to apply.
No, they're not required to have a license to do the application, but the morning of check-in, there'll be, the check station attendant will check to make sure that that's the person that's listed on that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the public? Okay, I'll bring it back to the commission. Any other comments from the commission? Need a motion?
If nobody has any comments, I'll make a, excuse me, I'm losing my voice a little bit. Motion to approve Commission Regulation 07-07, Amendment Number 9, Overton-Key Pittman Hunter Reservation System, modifications as proposed by the department.
Second. Okay, I have a motion, second. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, unless somebody's got to really go to the bathroom or something like that, I'm going to keep plowing. Agenda item number 21, Commission Regulation 12-03, 2013, Heritage Tag Regulation Program.